I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, MILNOR, things are looking pretty grim there in the good old United States of America. Yep, the system teeters on the brink. Our systems are being dismantled, and the press looks like they are next on the chopping block. But let me tell you about two other people who faced long odds. A white cracker cop from South Florida and an African-American cop from the Bronx. All they had was a Bren 10, a couple of extra clips, a sawed-off, some pastel suits, and a black Ferrari Daytona Spider convertible. Did they give up? No. Did they let the nefarious lowlife take over South Florida? No. They dug in and they fought back. So keep your head up. Use them as a lesson for us all. There's hope. There's hope at the end of this tunnel. At least I think so. Okay, this little gem of a film, gem or gem? Both, actually. This little gem of a film is 100% due because of someone who wrote me in a positive fashion. This guy, whoever you are, wrote me and said, "So stoked to see you back on YouTube. Thank you. You're welcome. But you don't seem to be posting a whole hell of a lot, so like, what's up?" And I thought, okay, this is a learning experience. This is a chance for us to all to learn together. So I made a little chart that we're going to look at here in a minute that talks about my life and why YouTube is where it is for me. But that's only part of this film. So there's a couple of things. I'm getting ready to leave for 3 weeks in Eurolandia, the land of high taxes and diesel fuel. I love it over there. I'm going over to teach a workshop. And then I am going to London for a week for Blurb. So if you are so inclined and you are prone to London, come and see me. I'm going to the photo and video show. I'm going to the London Book Fair, and I'm also leading a Blurb photo walk. Last time I was in London, I looked at portfolios and books in my hotel lobby. So if you're up for that or you're interested in that, let me know. I will have a little bit of time to do that. And then I've got a couple of other little spots in the UK that I need to hit, spots that are close to London, and then I'll be coming back. And then I go to New York. So if you're in New York prone, you can do the same thing. Reach out, let me know. I'll be around. Now, I'm packing today to leave. And because of my neck and back. So my neck is bad. It's really bad. 5, 6, 7 vertebrae. Not good. But what I'm starting to understand is the scoliosis. My back kind of goes like this. Starts at the bottom. Goes like this. Kind of goes up like this. And then it goes like this. And then it goes boom, like that. And that little section where that curve is, when I first got my x-ray, and the x-ray technician said, "You know about this scoliosis, right?" I said, "No, I've never seen an x-ray of my back." He said, "Dude, you got a pretty sizable scoliosis." Then I showed it to my brother's wife. She's an x-ray tech, ER. She was like, "Wow, you got a sizable scoliosis." But everyone kind of like brushed it under the table because they were like, "Well, the scoliosis, not great, but your neck is the real problem. And the fact that your neck doesn't curve like it should, that's a problem too. And then there's bone spurs and arthritis in your neck, and that's probably not helping things." What I'm starting to realize is that scoliosis, that little curve, that little section right there, that's worse than I thought it was. So I foam roller 3-4 times a day. I do traction twice a day. I do inversion twice a day. And then I do weights to try and build up the atrophying that's happening on my left side. And I was making serious progress. I was making serious progress till 3 weeks ago. And then I completely redid what I originally injured, and now I'm kind of back to ground zero. But that scoliosis, man, it's making sounds. When I'm on the foam roller, and it's making sounds that don't even sound human. So I think that section is worse than I first imagined. Consequently, I am leaving for Europe, and the grand extent of what I'm taking is this. Now, yes, this is primarily based on my neck and back, and I cannot have anything on my shoulders. Everything has to be out of a fanny pack, which we all know, mullets and fanny packs, that is instant Hall of Fame in terms of coolness. But that's all I'm taking. And it's kind of fun. The Nikon will remain at home. I'm about to drop a post on my Shifter site about the Nikon and the Fuji and kind of the realities of these two cameras and why I'm only taking one. But I finally did get a chance to use this. I bought this because of one reason. My wife stole the 5. So I didn't have this camera anymore, and well, the latest one is the 6, so you might as well buy the 6 if you can. So I got a chance to buy the 6. I finally had a chance to use it. It is very much obviously like the 5. I don't see any major differences there. The autofocus might be slightly faster. The IBIS might be slightly better. I only handheld one super short clip of motion that I have no intention of ever using. I did it to appease someone next to me who asked me to do it, and I just wasn't even looking through the viewfinder. I was like, I'm going to press this button and act like I'm filming this for you, but I'm never going to do anything, and I'm never sending it to you because I'm a jerk. But anyway, what I didn't think about with this camera is the resolution. The resolution, the 40 megapixels, kind of caught me by surprise. Because look, 24, 26, it's fine for me. I don't need huge files. What am I doing? I can make the largest book I can possibly make, or what I would possibly want. A 24 megapixel or 26 megapixel file to do a book like that is completely fine. You don't need anything. You could do it with a 12 megapixel. Probably smaller if you were using genuine fractals or some equivalency. Anyway, when I looked at the files out of this camera, I was kind of blown away by the resolution. The resolution changes the look and feel of what those images are, and I like it. It's actually kind of an interesting thing. It's amazing to me to get 40 megapixels out of a camera that's that tiny. And this thing has been a dream. I've only really used it one time. I've only been in the field one time since I bought it, but because I have a lot of responsibilities for Blurb and I'm attending things like the photo and video show in London and the London Art Book Fair, the London Book Fair, I don't have any specific assignments at those other than to attend. And this just makes it really easy to capture beautiful footage. This thing works incredibly well. Am I an expert? No. Could you do the same thing on your phone? Probably. Do I want to do it with the phone? No. Do I take pictures with my phone? Only when I have to. I don't want that as my tool to capture. It just doesn't work for me. If it works for you, don't care. Whatever makes you happy, do it. So again, kind of nice, super lightweight. My bag has room in it for once. Actually, I'll show you what I'm taking if you're nice. If you're nice to me, I'll show you my suitcase and I'll show you what's in it. And it's kind of funny because I think it's a little different than what people think. The other thing is the first one of my Baron Fig journals. I have a couple of pages, maybe 2 pages left, and then it is done. So I got number 2 ready for the trip to Berlin. So this is my current journal that I worked on a little bit before I left. There's no writing in this yet. Oh, this is kind of a cool multiple exposure from Peru. Anyway, what else is in here? Is anything interesting? Yeah, I've taken some, whatever. I just added to it, so this is ready to go. I also have my field notes journals too, which I'll carry with me during the day because I just have my fanny pack, and this will not fit in my fanny pack. But that's for at night and in the morning and everywhere else. So I made a chart. Let me go back to the beginning of this call. I made a chart because someone wrote me and said, hey, stoked you're back on YouTube, but like, what the hell? You're not posting anything. And I was like, oh, again, it's weird. There's so much confusion. I get people reaching out all the time that write me about my job as if they know what my job is. And then 2 lines into the email, I go, this person has no idea what I do. This person has like fabricated a job in their head and that's what they think I'm doing. And they think that they can somehow manipulate me into doing what they want me to do, which is kind of bizarre. And it's kind of funny to me. So I thought I made a chart that will explain a little bit about my life. So let's take a look at that chart, shall we? All right, you jackals, I made you a little chart to understand my life. This is pretty simple. This says effort. This says time. Neither one of these has anything to do with this chart. I just put it in here because it made it look like it was a little more official. This you have Blurb, and this you have Dan. Blurb, Dan, Dan, Blurb, Dan. Time, effort. Okay, look. 80% of my life is Blurb. 20% is me. I had this at 90-10, but then I decided to change it because I realized something about these. So this is Blurb, but it's a little more complicated than this. We're going to get to this in a second. And this is me, Dan, 20. Wife, family, newsletter, AG23, photography, fitness, shifter, YouTube. In no particular order. The only 2 on this list that might be in actual order is the top one, wife, and the bottom one, YouTube. That's where YouTube fits in at the moment. And most likely, that's always where it will remain. But let's get to the blurb thing first. 80% of my life is blurb. However, the 60% here is the actual assignments from blurb. That is writing blog posts, writing emails, delivering artwork, delivering motion, doing a little bit of editing, but thank God I don't have to do the editing. We have somebody else who does that, who's way more skilled than I am. But that's kind of the official, and this is a lot of meetings. This is marketing meetings. This is weekly business meetings. This is sometimes all hands. This is also sometimes meeting with CS or a meeting with the design team or a meeting with product, all these different things. So lots of meetings, lots of writing, some art delivery, some motion stuff, whatever. The official 60%. The 40% of the 80%, this is what happens when you've been in the position as long as I have. This is the 40% of me as the blurb guy. This means that 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I am being contacted by people who are using blurb. They are photographers, designers, illustrators, artists, educators, customers, brands, marketing people. They are relentless because I am getting emails, I'm getting text messages, I'm getting WhatsApp. They're coming 24 hours a day. I've had calls on Christmas morning. I've had calls on Thanksgiving morning. I've had calls on January 1st of people saying, I need this, I want this, I need this, I want this. You have to stop what you're doing. Sometimes those calls don't bother me. Depends on how the angle the person takes. Sometimes when they're demanding and you realize that a photographer, for example, has completely lost touch with reality and the only thing they know is what's happening in their own head. That can be annoying, especially on Christmas morning or Thanksgiving, but it happens pretty much every year. I get at least one of the two, Christmas or Thanksgiving, I get people who are calling either asking for things or demanding. And oh, by the way, this 40%, this comes with threats too. I've been threatened multiple times. I've had to call legal multiple times, getting threatened. So this is the 40% that no one talks about. But most of the time, I would say 98% of this is positive. There's the 2% crazies, but yeah, whatever, no big deal. 40% super positive, 60% is fun. This is the bulk of my job, but that leaves 20% for me. Wife, family, newsletter, photography, fitness, shifter, YouTube. And here's where we get really complicated. The wife, she's a one-off. Family, thankfully, I don't have a touchy-feely family, so it's not like we're singing Kumbaya all the time and like holding hands. I'm in communication with them, but it's pretty minimal. The newsletter, AG23, hold the phone, Chuck. Hold your breath. The newsletter is coming, and there may or may not be a connection to AG23. There might be. I thought it was dead. I officially said to people it was dead. It may not be. Photography is connected to blurb. Very rarely do I do assignments for blurb. I was asked 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago to do some shooting in a facility, which I didn't get a chance to do because we were in meetings, and so someone else did it. But occasionally someone will say, can you shoot something? But that happens maybe once a year, once every couple of years. But my photography, the work that I create on my own, blurb has been using that for 13 years. So if you name a project I've worked on, if you name a country I've been to, if you name a country I've been to teach a workshop, blurb is using the photography. Fitness, no, but that's a big part of my life. Got to stay in shape. Shifter, indirectly tied to blurb. I just posted a post this morning about a Luca Ferrara's book on China that was printed on blurb, posted on my Shifter site. So those are connected. And YouTube is connected as well, albeit not super directly, but a lot of the times I love talking about photo books, printing, all that kind of stuff. To me, if you're not printing, you're kind of a poser, and gone over that many times before. This is my life. As you can see, my little chickadees, YouTube is way down here. For YouTube to move up is not likely. It would take some major rearrangement of this. Time, effort, time. It would take some, magma, high voltage change to get there. But that, my friends, is where we're at. As you can see, that's the breakdown. This should clear this up once and for all. because I keep getting people asking bizarro questions. Like, some people think I work part-time. Some people think I'm on a contract. Some people think I don't work for Blurb, that I'm just, all I do is photography and YouTube. So it's bizarre. It tells me that listening comprehension is not high. And listening comprehension is not high because people are spending too much time on the screen and they're trying to multitask. And remember, multitasking is a physiological impossibility for the human brain. It cannot do two things at once. The brain can only do one thing at a time. And when you claim that you're multitasking, you're actually switching between tasks, which is why occasionally, and this happened to my wife this morning when I was looking over at her, my wife was in the reset mode for a second. Like, she task, and then all of a sudden I looked over and it was like, time to reboot. And you'll see your friends do this. You'll see a lot of like Instagram, TikTok heavy, YouTube heavy people. Their brain gets to a certain point where they're trying to do multiple things at the same time. And if you do that long enough, just like your computer, you have to restart. And you'll see them glaze over, or they'll stop talking halfway through a sentence. And that's them, their brain, rebooting and trying to get back to a normal human level of activity. It doesn't work. So anyway, this hopefully will clear that up. And for those of you in Germany or the UK, I will hopefully see some of you in the near future, and the others, I'll see you when I get back. That should not be on the floor. Don't do that. Don't put your stuff on the floor. Okay, this is what I'm taking. So extra masks, just in case. Fanny pack, because I'm cool. Shoes. These are both filled with like stuff that I need that I'm not going to talk about, but it's in there. Like it could be a razor, whatever. Extra pair of glasses. Roller for my back. This is for working out, and that's for my back. That's a backpack. That is a Instax printer. And then underneath the fanny pack, you've got a bunch of Instax film, which will gradually decline as the trip goes on. And I make prints for students. Shoes. Here's my camera bag. Tenba, laptop, Fuji, DJI, books, Kindle, passport, down jacket, hard drives, and a bag full of like miscellaneous cables and stuff. And I finally found a water bottle that fits in my side bag. I never take a water bottle because they never fit in these pockets. And then once you get the bag packed and you put this thing in there, the water bottle sticks out so far. This has a hard time like in sort of that aisle seat on most domestic flights. It's just a little bit too wide, but this little skinny water bottle works pretty well. Then I have a battery pack on the other side, like a 40,000 milliamp battery that I carry with me. Field notes, extras, copy of AG23, and these are the grand total of the clothes I'm taking for 3 weeks. So not a lot, not very exciting, right? That's it.